Welcome to Please Me, the podcast bringing you bold conversations and big clit energy. Sí, Please Me ahora tiene subtítulos en español. And welcome to my Friday bonus episode series. I'm Eve, your host, on a journey from trauma to sexual liberation. Let's reclaim pleasure and close the orgasm gap, one empowering conversation at a time. Last Friday was a tribute to the LGBTQ plus community, my community, and a celebration of Pride Month. Whether you are listening in June or any other month, go back and listen to this celebration and learn about my backstory and when I joined the community. Did you know that podcasts rely on listener support to keep bringing you the content you love? For the best way to support the show, join me on Patreon for ad-free listening, early releases, bonus episodes, and exclusive content. See show notes for the link. Got a burning question or want a free 10-minute consultation? Download the OWL app and give me a call. Check the show notes for my code to get $10 toward your first chat. Please Me is for mature audiences. Sit back, relax, and surrender to the pleasure of Please Me. Hello, and welcome to Please Me, the Friday bonus episode series. I today am changing the narrative a little bit because today we're going to be doing a tribute to a lovely guest that we had on the show this season 5. His name was Koby Falks, and he was an incredible creator. He was part of the LGBTQ community, and he was an incredible example of resilience and of authentically being yourself. And he considered himself a gay man, which he told me that he came out later in life. And that was a difficult thing to do in his native Australia, where men are perceived as being very masculine. And he too was a very masculine man. However, he also considered himself a bear and a bottom, which was unusual. And he used these things to his advantage to create an incredible business for himself in the OnlyFans community and in the porn industry, which he really blossomed in and was able to fully be his authentic self in the last few years of his life. And I am so grateful that he was able to come on my show and share his incredible journey and experience and knowledge. He was a wealth of knowledge, such a smart man. And he really shared a lot of wonderful tidbits with us during our 2-part episode that I had with him. And he had an incredibly strong Instagram presence. When I posted my reels on Instagram about him, I got so many comments from his fans who absolutely loved him so much. And he really is truly missed. And I wanted to come on here because even though I have searched the internet for all of the relevant information regarding his death, really there was no information with the end of his life in terms of how he died, and at least not that I had found thus far. And sometimes when we don't have the information that helps to close that loop in our minds, it becomes really difficult to fully mourn someone, and it keeps us isolated in a way. And so I wanted to come on here, and one of the articles that I read did mention that you should keep your loved ones close, and especially ones that are part of the LGBTQ community, to reach out to them on a regular basis and check in, even when you think they're okay. And that was part of an article that I read. And so I wanted to bring that up here because I do feel like this is something worth talking about. Mental health is such an important part of everybody's life, and especially if you're part of the LGBTQ community, because mental health issues are even more pronounced in this community. And I just want to bring up a few stats here. that I was able to gather. According to the Trevor Project, the LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than their peers. 4 times. Also, gay and bisexual men are at a higher risk for depression, anxiety, and suicide, with rates nearly double to that of heterosexual men. And the feelings of isolation can increase for those who come out later in life or for those who don't fully feel like they belong in mainstream queer narratives. And so I just want to put that out there because I know that he was an unusual person in the queer community because he did consider himself a bear and a bottom. But he was just an authentically loving and brave human being. And I want to recognize him for the education that he brought to the show, the charisma that he brought to the show, the spiciness that he brought to the show. And he was just a joy to interview and to get to know. And I feel like I lost a friend. I truly do. I'm very sad that I wasn't able to meet him in person, but I will continue to spread his legacy because it was an important legacy. And he was a strong member of the LGBTQ community, always talking about how it's important to love yourself. And self love is so key. I want to celebrate him by talking about his courage, his charm, his sexual identity, and his sexual honesty, and his willingness to share his story publicly. I know that this is really difficult, and coming onto a podcast, I should say, is like next level coming out for anybody. And it was broadcast all over the world. This show is seen in over 120 countries. And so this is next level bravery. And I so appreciate him coming on and sharing all of the information that he talked about and really truly being authentic and real with me. There were some things that I remember saying, oh my gosh, this is not something that I would advocate for. And we had this back and forth, but he had such a fun energy about him. And he was so much fun during the role play that we did. He actually pretended to be a straight man for the role play, which I thought was hilarious and really funny and fun. So I encourage you to go back and listen to both episodes because I think they were amazing. He talked about his experience with protection and with boundaries and with STIs, which I like to talk a lot about in terms of sexual health. I like to consider myself the face of safe sex. And I think that talking about preventing sexually transmitted infections is so important. And of course, in the gay community, this is something that's extremely important as well. And he really was very real and talked about his experiences and what he thought was the right path. And so I truly respect the man that he was, and he will truly be missed. I want to make sure that if you do have friends or community or you're part of the LGBTQ community, you reach out to somebody today, especially your queer friends, and be honest about your own mental health. We all struggle with mental health issues. I know I myself have anxiety and I struggle with anxiety, and everybody is different. But all of these things are relevant, and we need to support each other and be a community. And I want to make sure that also I encourage people to support our queer creators and our queer voices. Again, I invite you to revisit that episode with Koby Falks. There was 2 episodes. And I want to talk a little bit about suicide prevention because I think that this is such an important issue for all of our friends that listen to the show, but most especially our queer friends, because suicide is just such a bigger part of their life, unfortunately, than being part of the heteronormative community. So I just want to point out a couple of different resources. There is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can call them in the US. 988 is the number. So it's 911. 988 is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline or Lifeline. The Trevor Project is another source of information that you can reach out to and get more information. And the Trans Lifeline. And the Trans Lifeline, I'm just going to say the numbers here, but I will definitely include them in the show notes, is 877 565 8860. And so, again, I want to thank you all for listening to this short tribute episode for Koby Falks, who was a guest on Please Me podcast this season. He will always be in my heart. I will always remember the contribution that he made to Please Me podcast. And of course, the contributions that he made worldwide as an OnlyFans creator and as a personality, as a content creator on Instagram and all of the other places that he spoke and was truly authentic to himself. I appreciate his life, his authenticity, and his truth. And so, again, reach out to your friends. And I thank you for listening today. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me as always on pleaseme.online. And if you are hearing this episode and you feel it would be beneficial to share with somebody, go ahead and copy and paste it right now and send it to somebody because somebody needs to hear this today. Until next time. For ad-free listening, exclusive bonus episodes, Eve's library of archived webinars, and early access to new releases of Please Me, become a monthly supporter on Patreon. Simply open the Patreon app on your phone, search for Please Me, and subscribe today for premium content and more. Cheers to finding your pleasure and big lit energy.